Hello everybody. Happy Friday, happy weekend actually, as we are ending Friday with a beautiful week ahead. So here I am, Sudha Jamthe, for Sudha Live, our weekly live stream about AI opportunities that I bring to you. So let me make sure that I'm recording this. Okay. So hello everybody, happy Friday and welcome to Sudha Live. And I don't know if you're watching this from YouTube or LinkedIn, and I've even set up the stream on Periscope. So hello from anywhere else with your joining. So as my usual routine goes, I wanted to start with what is happening in the AI world, what are the opportunities? And the reason I set it up on Zoom is so that I could share the link directly with you. So there is an interesting article that I saw. It's actually a paper about data sheets on data sets. Can you imagine how in the world of electronics, there's like a standardized process for what would be the components, whatever the components, right? There's an accompanying data sheet. So think about it. Why would we need that in the AI world for data sets? So I had a question to my students recently saying, if you are a product manager in a position to look at a couple vendors who show up and say, hey, I can solve a problem, and they have comparable products. So this came about in my artificial intelligence bootcamp for product and business managers class at Stanford Continuing Studies recently, where we discussed about how Uber was sued by a driver because they were using facial recognition and it failed for a person who was Black, and it was the fault of the Face API that they were using from Microsoft. So the product manager chose Microsoft's Face API over other options of facial recognition options, maybe from IBM or from someone else. So my question is, what would you do if you were the product manager who was to evaluate any of these products that you're picking, saying, a vendor shows up, tech vendor shows up and say, I have an API which can do facial recognition. The class answered saying that we will ask, what training data was your AI trained in? And the answer I gave them is, it is impossible for anybody, however well-meaning they are, to actually say what data set were they using, because they might have started with one data set and then they might not have had great performance in their model. So they would improve and use different data sets, and it would go on an iteration with various versions. It's like software engineering in building AI. And finally, at some point, they said, okay, this is good to ship to the customer. And this is an ongoing cycle when the customer interacts. Even this Uber's driver interaction would have given them data to train the AI back. That's why AI is called training or learning AI. So it's training AI becomes inference AI, and then that's the learning AI when it comes back and learns. So the reason that we need some standardization for data sets is because there is no standard out there. And so when somebody says, hey, we are training using data sets, and we don't know what the training data set is, it looks like a joke. So here we are. Here is the paper called Data Sheets for Data Set. And the concept is to come up with some kind of standard as a standardized process for documenting data sets. And for me, I'm a person who loves data. So this is a very fascinating thing, because I think the power of AI lives in data, and there is no standardization, and not just standardization in how you communicate what the data set has. So if there is bias in the data set and it has been subsequently improved, you can actually have some standards in that. So this set of authors are looking for comments on this. And so it's been a working paper. So if that's something that you want to contribute to, this is a place that you can actually, be part of it. Okay, so I thought that was a great start to our conversation today about opportunities in AI, because when you think of opportunities in AI, you think of jobs, conferences, learning opportunities, projects, things like that. But I was thinking, this is a great opportunity for somebody who is, at any stage of the AI learning lifecycle to think about, okay, I'm using data sets. Can there be a standard process? What does that look like? And then contribute your thinking to that. The other interesting thing that I saw this week was Stanford's HAI group, which, it's called Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, Stanford's Institute for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence. They have a new initiative called Center for Research on Foundation Models, CRFM. And on August 23rd and 24th, Monday, Tuesday, they had a virtual event where they did a workshop on foundation models. Let me share that here with you, because that is available for you to see on YouTube, right? So it's Stanford HI model, and you can see right here. And the concept of this whole advanced model is that there are, how AI is narrow and you train it using training data to solve a problem. Does it recognize a face? Not even a face. I've done this exercise where, you divide the data set into two classes and it recognizes only two classes. So if you say apples and oranges and then you bring pineapples, it can't recognize pineapples. Not even a fruit. It could be a dog that you bring in as a third element to test it. And the world of the AI would be only apples and oranges that it's been trained on. So there's a whole movement in this world of building algorithms to create some advanced models. And you must have heard of BERT or GPT-3. GPT-3 is a natural language processing model to create some kind of advanced model that will support all kinds of modality. So that is one that is in the works. So this Stanford conference talked about what are the issues, what are the opportunities, what are the advanced research that's happening. It was a lot of panels and discussions, but that's all out there on YouTube recording if you want to take a look at that. And then there is another one. I've been talking about no-code AI, but here it is. There is a class by Elliot Adams. And I have taken a class as a student. So this is not a class that I'm teaching, where I have taught, I've attended as a student and learned a lot on, it's called CS71 in the continuing studies, Stanford Continuing Studies world. It's called Build Applications Without Programming, the No-Code Revolution. And it's not no-code AI, it's no-code everything. And there's a movement to create citizen developers using no-code. And Elliot did a fantastic job. I learned so much from there. So this is a class that is happening in fall from September 21 to 19th. And I believe you can register now if you're interested. I can say I have no affiliation. I teach at Stanford Continuing Studies. I'm not teaching this class, but I'm more endorsing this as a student. And I think that's a good one, especially since I teach no-code AI. I thought, having a good sense of the bigger picture of the overall no-code revolution would be an interesting thing. So that's a class that I would recommend, highly recommend. And one of the things we did this week at our weekly Wednesday at Business School of AI is Sam Wigglesworth came in and did an NLP webinar about natural language processing. It was amazing. I have learned NLP from Sam, and Sam Wigglesworth is the NLP expert. She runs language school and loves and teaches math. So the combination of language and math brought her to NLP. And I've taken her class early on, maybe a year plus time back. And each time I talk to her, she's got something new going. So she did a fantastic webinar. So if you're part of Weekly Wednesday, if you missed it, you would get an email and you would get the recording. But better still, Henry Mulak from NBC recently took my AI class at Stanford and has volunteered to write a blog about Weekly Wednesday on interesting speakers presentation. So he has a blog ready. He blogs at medium.com/business school of AI. That is our blog. If you follow that, Henry's blog should go up any minute, later today or early tomorrow. And Sam's webinar would be, recording would be linked to that. And Sam Wigglesworth is also going to teach one of our classes coming up this fall at Business School of AI. We have a no-code AI class, which is a data science for business users using no coding, that is being taught by me. And there are live labs, and one of them is the live lab NLP that is being taught by Sam Wigglesworth. So take a look at that webinar and see if you want to work with natural language processing, building virtual assistants and chatbots, or work with GPT-3. This course is for you, and you can actually take a look at the course. Let me see whether I have the course here. So the course is, I think I made a bit.ly for it called bit.ly/live lab NLP. Let me share the screen, what it looks like with you. So this is the course, and here is Sam, and I'm going to sit through the class and attend it. So we're calling it live lab because we have a method of teaching using no code. So Sam is going to teach you NLP. She's going to teach you, whether you want to build a virtual assistant or a chatbot. The students have to do a project to earn their certificate. Yes, you learn a certificate on completion, and all our usual rules hold good. Here's the curriculum. You can take a look at it, or what it is, what you'll be learning, or what you learn week by week, that kind of thing. And here's the schedule of when the class happens. And I have an amazing speaker that's a surprise. Is one of my past students who works in NLP space, who's going to be joining us. And all the usual rules hold good, I guess, that you can get a certificate of completion. If you don't like the class, if it's not the right one for you, you can get a refund in 30 days, that kind of thing. But the important thing is we are limiting it to 20 people in the class, and we will have groups of 5 who will do projects together. So if you have a project that you're thinking about, talk to us. We don't want you to sign up, take the spot, and then leave somebody else out. So we would be talking to you to make sure this is the right course for you. Okay, so that is the NLP course from Sam Wigglesworth, people. The other thing is, I saw there is a job posting from Alpana Verma. Let me share that also. I found that sharing this actually takes you to the right screen, so you don't need to, wait for me to post the link, which I will be posting on LinkedIn. So if you have any questions for me, obviously you can chat and ask me, but here we are. So Alpana Verma is a senior director of core services in Walmart, and she's looking for a product manager focused on supply chain, and last mile delivery. So I was thinking, those of you who have taken my autonomous vehicle class at Stanford, or autonomous vehicle data course at Business School of AI, or anybody who's in the AI space who is either PM or transitioning to PM, would make a good addition to this. And I can tell you, I worked with Alpana Verma, and she's a fantastic person. So there'll be a fun team for you to be part of, and I can make a referral if this is interesting for you. Okay, so that is the job I have. I keep talking about opportunities in AI. I keep taking notes through the week on what I should share with you. I found another thing. There was in our business of AV data class, we had done a project with Mr. Alexander Varga from Volvo, teaching us how to build microservices and connect digital twins to a variety of cloud servers. We did with AWS and Microsoft and IBM as 3 architecture, because we try to be very brand agnostic. And so I'm talking about that because I found that Toyota Connected and AWS design team came together, and they've built out a collision assistant application. It's very fascinating for me because this is the kind of thing my students were building out as part of their class project, but seeing that in production and live by a real OEM coming together with AWS was fantastic for me to see. So I will be sharing that link of that. I believe I shared that on LinkedIn already, but I will find that and share that with you guys. Okay, so the NLP webinar free from Sam, or the NLP course from Sam Wigglesworth, is there for you, bit.ly/live lab NLP. If you're part of Weekly Wednesday at Business School of AI, you can obviously, be part of, you'll be getting the recording, or follow medium.com/Business School of AI for Henry's updates and amazing blog. He doesn't just, he's not just going to literally tell you what this webinar is about. He's just taking, okay, what is this concept? What is the gist I got? Because he's a true journalist. So I love his writing and reading what he has to say. Okay, I wanted to show one more thing. So if you're not part of Business School of AI's Weekly Wednesdays are happy place where my students come together, and we have a speaker series going on every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock here East Coast time, and 18 hour Europe or Nigeria, and 1 p.m. Brazil time. So that's midweek that we have a speaker series going on. Once a month, we have a webinar on a topic. So this time it was Sam Wigglesworth NLP webinar. Last month, it was a no-code AI webinar. So if you're part of Weekly Wednesday, you can get access to all of these recordings. So no questions asked. And our Weekly Wednesdays are happy, free space. So, it's more about connecting with each other. And if you're one of my students watching this, I want you to ping me and tell me what you're working on, because maybe you can come and share something with our class. So I'm always looking to bring people in industry because all our courses are teaching the foundation material. Our live labs give you experience of doing this more hands-on. It doesn't matter whether you know Python, because that's not a requirement to learn AI or AV or IoT or any exponential technology. And the no-code AI course is about learning data science. And I'll tell you about that in a minute if you're interested. So chat away and tell me if that's interesting, and then we'll go in that direction. And the concept of bringing speakers and having that live discussion is about making sure that you get the sense of what's happening for real. So it's one thing to say, this is NLP, this is how you build chatbots and what happens in industry. And then, or to say, this is how you build an AI solution and build microservices, But when you hear from somebody working in the field and say, this is what I've done, these are the challenges, and this is our process we follow, and this is the best practice, that takes us to a totally different plane. And I want you to have that experience so that you get the confidence to go do this for real, especially those of you who are looking to career pivot or bring this into your companies. I want you to get that. So that's what we do with our speaker series. So if you're my student, talk to me. So one of the things that happened this week, when I'm talking about Weekly Wednesday, let me find the page for you. So one of the things that happens with this Weekly Wednesday is we had a transition. So we had Ananya Sen talking to us and hosting Weekly Wednesday for the past 2 months. And she's up the bar so much and got me super organized, and she prepares and gets our speakers, prepared and ready with the questions ahead of time. And she's created this process so that each week after the recording is done, we make sure we do the follow-ups and send you the recording, and so I'm so thankful for Ananya for all that she's done. And she was in a transition from being a software engineer to become a product manager, but did not want to lose her tech touch. And so now she's landed and she's busy being a product manager. So now she's passing the baton to one of my other students, Yash Ashwini. She goes by Yash, from Bangalore, from Mindtree, and she works on responsible AI, and she took my AI ethics course. And Yash has begun hosting. So the NLP webinar with Sam was hosted by Yash. So cheer with me for Ananya. Thank you, Ananya. And welcome, Yash. We look forward to more of your hosting and, bringing your personality to this. I want this to be, student alumni led, and I want my students to, host it. And it was a good timing. Ananya felt like she'd made the transition to PM, and that was the journey she was in. And so she said, I want to be part of Weekly Wednesday, but take a step back and, be in the audience and listen. And it was perfect timing. So I look forward to Yash and her style of how she's going to drive this. And I enjoy this because I get to meet my students each week and learn something new. So that's where we are. And this coming week for Weekly Wednesday. So if you go to Business School of AI, you should be able to see a link for Weekly Wednesday, and that's where you can sign up for Weekly Wednesday. And one of the other things I have going this week, Let me show this on a Chrome browser because I like it better there. One of the things we have going on there is we have our fall catalog, and as part of it, I had so many people who are like asking about Weekly Wednesday, or they're asking about no code AI because I keep talking about it. So one of the things I decided to do is, whether you're going to sign up for my class or not, I want to give you the Weekly Wednesday. I mean, I want to give you the no code AI. So I did like a mini course to teach Weekly Wednesday audience about no code AI. So what I've done is, if you go to businessschoolofai.com, here is a link for the fall catalog. The fall catalog is not huge. We have the no code AI course. We have a live lab with machine learning, where we are going to teach you machine learning, but how to build an AI solution with machine learning end to end. And Julian Carbonell is going to do a masterclass in there, hands-on. And we have this live lab NLP with Sam Wigglesworth. And then we have AI ethics. And Renee Cummings is going to teach a module on responsible AI. And Susanna Raj is going to teach inclusive AI. That's our catalog. Okay. But if you click to request the catalog, it'll take you to a form. And I'm using that as a input from you to see whether you're interested in the course, because I want to talk to you and tell you about the course. I don't like to market it during my Weekly Wednesday. And I can answer questions. I'll tell you if it is not the right thing for you for your goals. I'll tell you that's not the course, because we don't take more than 20 students per course. But the good thing is, when you request the fall catalog, I'm going to give you a free no code AI course. So even if you're just interested in learning no code AI, or what is no code AI and is it relevant for me, click here and sign up, and I'll send you the no code AI course. Okay. So these are all our various students and people of our community. And here are various courses you can link to find out what is what. This is the KiwiBot we saw on a tour last week. So that is what I've got as various links that will take you to the syllabus and send you more information. Yeah. And this is my happy community. Hey, I get to see my variety of students, and you can sign up for Weekly Wednesday here. So if you're new, you've not done Weekly Wednesday, this is the place for you to sign up. And I wanted to show you one more thing. So it takes you to a form to sign up, so you can do that, right? These are my previous speakers, my students, actually, all of them. These are my students from the past. Okay, so with that, I'm coming to the end of our half an hour. I don't want to extend this more than half an hour. So if you have questions for me, you can chat away, and thank you for your feedback to keep this more interesting. So don't miss the NLP webinar from recording from Sam. If you're interested in a no-code AI class, go to businessschoolofai.com and request it, the fall catalog and the no-code AI. I will send you the no-code AI course. And of course, I gave you the resources and Alpana's Verma's job. I'm happy to make a referral if I know you in any form, and I can tell you what this is about, or at least I can connect you to have a conversation to explore if you have the right fit. And I had one last thing. Let me go back and look at my list. So the coming Weekly Wednesday. So this Wednesday, September 1st, is going to be my no code AI day. And I'm actually trying to go meet the Accio team. Accio builds out no code AI. And so I've shown that as a demo in many of my classes. So I'm meeting the Accio team, and I'm also trying to schedule to meet the iRobot team. We did the West Coast tour with KiwiBot. So if you're my student here in the Boston area, talk to me, because we're going to do go meet iRobot. And if you don't do an official tour, I'll get you some recording. Okay, so that's my plan. So we're going to focus on no code AI. And some of you are asking me about mobility data specification, MDS. And MDS is the standard by which mobility robot companies which do shared mobility, scooter companies, Uber, Lyft, all of them give data about their mobility and transactions to the city. So they make it available in a certain format called mobility data specification, and the city pulls that information so that across different vendors, they can see what's happening in terms of mobility in the city. Why am I talking about this? Because KiwiBot uses that, and we are going to use that as our data set for learning machine learning with Julian Carbonell. So what kind of things can you do? So before I go away, let me show you that. So here is an Airtable from the mobility on mobility data specification. If you go to that GitHub, you can actually find out that you can find out, daily permit fees, or are there restricted area rights, whether the city needs to plan for better payments, the infrastructure planning, are there residents complaints in there? There's a lot of things. Curb management has become its own data set. Sidewalk management has become its own data set. These are all public data sets and specification that evolves around that. So if you are going to be part of learning live lab, machine learning from me and from Julian Carbonell, you get to make a first dip on what kind of use case do you want to pick for the class. So again, we'll have 20 people, no more than 20 people, divide that into 4 teams, multidisciplinary teams, and we are going to teach you machine learning and taking a business problem and solving it and build the AI model in 4 weeks window. So that's what we are planning for. The actual live lab will be like 2 hours hands-on, and then you'll have office hours offline. So that's kind of our format. So no more than 6 hours live if you're thinking of time allocation, all in September. But if you have a specific use case you're thinking about, then we can work with you. Again, you'll have to finish the project as part of your getting your certificate, and you can take your own time later on if you need more time. You don't need to rush and finish it in September, but we'll provide office hours and we'll have timing and a calendar working to help you out. So that's kind of our plan. So with that, I am going to wrap up, and let me check whether I had a landing page to show you who are my instructors and what are the master classes, because some of you seem to be interested in that. I'm kind of sensitive when I show the opportunities here. I'm kind of sensitive to make sure that this works for you, and I'm giving you stuff that you want to see. But if you want to see more, why not? So here we are. Okay. So here's details about all our different courses, and I will share this link back again with you at the chat. So this is the list of instructors who are teaching this set of courses this fall. Renee Cummings, I feel so honored that she's agreed to teach this Responsible AI Masterclass. Sam Wigglesworth, I've been singing Sam's praise today about her NLP Live Lab course. I'm going to be teaching the No Code AI data science course. So in this you're going to learn 2 things. You're going to learn what is data science in English. So what is machine learning, what is deep learning, supervised, unsupervised learning, various different algorithms, the specifics of it, the basic algorithm, classification models, anomaly detection, and then little introduction to advanced models. So the entire data science, you can confidently get a solid foundation of it. But then it's not enough. You'll hear a theoretical foundation. So I would give you a lab exercise. I am actually planning to give 3 lab exercises to play with data, to take a business problem, translate into a problem statement, and then go feed it into a no-code AI. And I'll teach you at least 2 no-code AI platforms so that you can go build a solution. So I have some students who are going to take the no-code AI data science for business users course, and then combine it with one of the live labs. You can take the master class on machine learning live lab with Julian Carbonell, or you can take the NLP live lab NLP with Sam Wigglesworth. Or you can get the data science foundation, and then you can take a AI ethics course, either the inclusive AI with Susanna or the responsible AI with Renee Cummings. And even there, we will do a hands-on exercise to understand data bias and mitigation, and take an exercise with emotion AI and go do this. Everything you do, you're going to have a hands-on component. Everything you do, you're going to have no code, and you're going to go learn the foundation. And then you have like industry experts, literally globally, who are coming together to teach you. I'm so honored to be part of this company. So talk to me, and whatever your interest, make sure that, individual masterclass for those of you who are looking at it is 250. The full course would be 499. And if you combine, especially if you're my student, you've already taken an AI course and you want to combine with one of the masterclass, I can actually make sure that we can do a combined pricing. You don't have to do two for 99s together. So talk to me, but it's more important for me to make sure this course is right for you and this is the right thing for you. So thank you, Ananya. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Here is where you sign up. If you go to businessschoolofai.com and you just click on request the fall catalog or the no code AI class, you're going to come to this form, and I'm going to send you stuff and we can have a conversation whether the course is right for you. Okay. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Make sure to check out all the resources that I've shared, and I will see you next week, or I will see you at Weekly Wednesday. And especially if you're local, if you want to join me with iRobot or Accio Visit, talk to me, because I can always find a reason to meet with my students. And if you're working on any amazing thing and you want to come speak to my class, also talk to me, because I'm starting a new speaker series, not speaker series. I'm going to start a student showcase series to showcase one of my students per week. And in fact, if you go to businessschoolofai.com, you can say a students link, and then you can see a lot of my database of my students and what they're working, what kind of things they do. It's not even all my students. I've thought about 500 students. I think I've managed to get about 10 or 20 in there, but I'm going to start a whole student showcase series. So look out for that email from me to showcase one of my students, what they're working on, what they are doing. And of course, I would link back to opportunities that's relevant to the topic that they're talking about. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay in touch, and you can contact me at Business School of AI. I'm Sudha Jamthe at businessschoolofai.com, or you know to find me in any of the channels where you're already chatting with me. So thank you, everybody, and stay safe. And I'll see you either at Weekly Wednesday online, or I'll see you back again next Friday, or definitely we'll talk online. Thanks. Bye. So with that, I am going to end this live stream. Bye, everybody.